Did you miss me? It's been a hot minute. I'm back. We are back. I missed you. So I was on a roll showing up here every week, and then I made one little decision in my business that completely changed the game. And that decision, well, it's pulled me off the airwaves for quite a while because my business exploded in the best possible way. So today we are back, and I am pulling back the curtain to share what that decision was and how it catapulted me from going solo and running everything on my own to hiring 2 more coaches and 5 support staff in just a few months. So if you are stuck not making any money as a solopreneur, not making enough money, wanting to scale or feeling like you've hit a ceiling, you, my friends, will want to lean in, because the decision I made is one you can apply too. So welcome back to episode 13 of the Going Solo podcast, the weekly podcast for solopreneurs who want to make life and business work for them and not the other way around. I'm Knight Dutkewich, corporate dropout turned business coach, and someone who learned the extremely hard way what it actually takes to run a successful solo business. And here's the thing. I am not just teaching this stuff. I am living it right alongside you. So earlier this year, I think it was probably end of January, February, I hit a point where I realized that I couldn't do it alone anymore. And I didn't want to. Now, I'm an introvert. I might have mentioned it. I love being on my own. And running a solo business after a few years on your own gets lonely. And I realized I didn't want to do it on my own anymore. And I not only needed help, but I wanted help. And that moment cracked something open for me. And what happened next completely changed everything. So I hired support. And at first, it felt like this huge weight had been lifted off my shoulders. Tasks were getting done. I was feeling taken care of. Things were moving forward. And for the first time in years, I felt like maybe, just maybe, I don't have to do everything by myself. And as a woman and a mother, you can probably relate. And I was excited and I was really energized and even a little giddy. I felt really quite smug that I'd kind of finally cracked the code. And within a few weeks, life hit me in the face with a whopping great wet fish. It really hit me like a ton of bricks. So miscommunications piled up, expectations were missed. Things that I thought were really simple suddenly required constant oversight. I am not a micromanager. I have no desire to really manage people anymore. I felt pulled in a dozen different directions again, and the relief I'd experienced from getting this help in completely evaporated, and it was replaced with extra stress. It was frustrating, it was exhausting. And so I had to make a tough decision to part ways. And letting people go is never easy, especially when we genuinely like them. But it came really, really clear that it wasn't working for me. It wasn't working for my clients. It wasn't working for my business. And I suspect it wasn't working for them. They were clearly struggling, they were miserable in the role, and I could feel their energy just dragging both of us down. I had to let them go. And what was really, really interesting was, at the same time, not unconnected, I noticed that other problems were coming up in the business. Sales were drying up. Clients who'd been with me for a while and kind of started off really enthusiastic were starting to stall out and not making any progress. And suddenly I realized something about the people around me. Now, I just want to be really, really clear. These are good people. These are good people. And they were stuck in this kind of low energy cycle, always complaining. How exhausting is it to be around people complaining all the time? Complaining about the algorithm, complaining about nobody was signing up to their masterclasses, complaining nobody was buying, complaining and in tears that success was taking longer than they thought it would. And one of the things I think is really interesting, what happens when people do that is they really start to resist and push back on the very coaching that they've hired me to give them. And that was really a wake-up call for me. What I realized was all these people around me, kind of low vibration, complaining, it wasn't about them. This was on me. I had created this. This was on me. And I got really honest with myself, and I realized that for years since I left corporates, I had really been operating from a place of fear and scarcity and lack. I had been obsessed with money in the way that we are when we don't have enough coming in. And I was constantly worrying about where the next client was coming from. I had been over-delivering, that's something women do all the time, kind of we over-deliver and we over-deliver. And I was exhausting myself to prove not only my value, but how different I was from the other coaches. And my entire messaging, my entire content platform, all of the way I spoke to people, which was how to get out of self-doubt and finally make money, was rooted in lack. So I had a big word with myself, lovingly, of course. There's no room for shame in this work. We all do our best at every point in time. I realized that I and my messaging had been steeped in scarcity and fear and just low vibe. And, you know, what do we attract? Do we attract what we want? Absolutely not. We attract what we already are. So, of course, and it sounds really obvious now, of course I was attracting staff and clients who mirrored that same energy. And that moment was a massive, I was going to do like that 1990s, massive wake-up call. I'm an optimist. I've always been an optimist. I am someone who considers myself pretty resilient. I'm a badass. I think most working mothers are badasses. I think most women are badasses. I think most people are badasses. And I really knew that I could handle anything. But I had to kind of be really honest with myself and say, all that's true, Joe, and you're living and operating in this kind of low frequency energy. And as long as I stayed there, I was going to keep pulling more of it in. And so if I wanted staff who were confident and positive and results driven, if I wanted clients who are ready to rise instead of resist, if I wanted to make more money than I ever thought was possible, then I had to shift first. And so, my friends, shift is exactly what I did. And just as a little teaser, when I did make that shift, here's what happened. My bank balance improved. I've had the 2 best quarters ever in my business. I've made 6-figure quarters, which I've never done before. My relationship with my family improved. My children, my 21-year-old now phones me every day. My 17-year-old is, I'm trying to put some caveats on it, is chattier than he was before. My relationship with my mother improved. My marriage felt lighter. There was more romance back in my life. I looked better. I felt better. And I started to work with a group of amazing people who were committed to blowing their own minds. All that is for that one new rule I made for myself, that nothing happens in my business that isn't high vibration. And so what do I mean by high vibration? I'm talking high vibration is everything north of kind of a 400 on the Hertz scale. Now, you might be thinking, what on earth is this woman talking about? I know it sounds really strange. I am talking about energy, because everything we do, every belief, every thought, every joke, every offer, Every client interaction, every DM, every WhatsApp message is energy. And I don't mean that in a kind of kumbaya or motivational way. I mean it literally. From a metaphysical and scientific perspective, everything in the universe is energy. So if you think about it, that desk you're leaning on, it looks solid. I'm hoping it's solid because I'm leaning on it. But if you zoom in with a really powerful microscope, you'll see it's just tiny particles vibrating at certain frequencies. The food we eat, it's stored energy from the sun, transformed by plants and then passed to us. Our thoughts, they're electrical impulses firing in our brains, measurable energy. So when I say your business is energy, it is not a metaphor. It is literal. The way we show up, the way we speak, the way we believe, all of it carries an energetic frequency. And that frequency either attracts or repels the people and opportunities around you. One more time. Everything is energy, and the way you show up carries a frequency, and that frequency either attracts or repels the people and opportunities around you. When we talk about I talk about being high vibration a lot, or high vibe. High vibration simply means that energy is moving very quickly. Emotions like joy, gratitude, love, peace, those move very, very quickly. That's called high vibration. And that's why when we are in those states, we feel light and expansive, and we are magnetic. They literally draw good things toward us. Now, on the other side, low vibration means slow moving, heavy energy. Some people call it sticky. I quite like that. Sticky energy. You can feel it around people. Think of those energy vampires. It's like, you can feel it. Emotions and beliefs like fear and shame and guilt and resentment, jealousy, that energy is sticky. I got boys, so they're a little bit older now, but for the first 15 years of their lives, everything was sticky. Everything was felt like a juice box that exploded all over it. So low vibration, it clings, it drags, it keeps us stuck. It's really hard to get out of. When you kind of hear that phrase, did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed this morning? That's what people are talking about. That's kind of that sticky low vibe. And so when we're in high vibration, we're not just feeling better. We have literally shifted the speed of our energy. And that speed makes it easier to create, to connect, and to attract. Now, this is one of the mistakes people make. So low vibration energy attracts. I want to be really, really clear. You're not only attracting when you are in this kind of high vibe positive, you will attract more of that. You absolutely are in attraction with the low vibe stuff. And I actually think that those sticky emotions, so you think of two sticky things, they're really going to womp together. That's a new word I've made up today. Womp. They're really going to stick together. And that low vibe energy feels like, well, it's exhausting. It's hard work. It's like forcing and proving and chasing. So when potential clients come to me and they say, I'm really having a problem, Jo, converting clients. Converting. Nobody wants to be converted, my friends. Nobody wants to be converted. When coaches or solopreneurs come to me telling me their problem is they can't convert people, which basically means convince them, force them into buying against their will, I know they are in low vibration, okay? So we don't want to do that. We want to be in high vibe because that feels like clarity and ease and confidence and joy. Now remember, and I repeat myself all the time, as my husband keeps telling me, I never said easy. Life is not easy. Why we would expect running a business to be easy if life isn't easy is beyond me, but we can do it with ease. So high vibration is clarity, ease, confidence, and joy. Okay. And this is why raising our vibration isn't just a kind of nice to have. It is the difference between forcing your way through mud and quitting after a year and going back to find a job. And that LinkedIn and message boards are full of that, full of people giving up. I've had 2 messages just this morning asking me. One of them was if I wanted to buy a life coaching domain because she's given up on life coaching. It is a difference between making money, staying in business, blowing your own mind, or not. And so that decision I made that my business would only be built and run from a high vibe place changed everything. And what was really interesting was as soon as because obviously I'm the, hello, I'm the problem, it's me. Because what's going on inside my head is the mirror for my life and my business and who I'm attracting. As soon as I had made that decision, and that decision lovingly, these things kind of happened almost immediately. And it was quite spooky, actually. So the first thing that happened is a couple of clients who were no longer a great fit quietly let themselves out. One less quietly than the others, but they quietly let themselves out. What was really interesting is as soon as those clients who were no longer a good fit let themselves out, there was this space for my dream clients to show up. And I suddenly started attracting people who were far more self-aware, far more ambitious, and far more energized. Remember, that doesn't mean the other people were bad people. It just means they weren't in a place that was going to be effective. The other thing that happened pretty much immediately, I was talking to Pippa, who's one of my coaches and also coaches alongside me in our programs, is at the beginning of the year, Pippa really caught me saying, my clients never pay in full. My clients never pay in full. And she sort of said like, whoa, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? And she said, your clients always pay in full. And I did what every business person does when somebody from Glastonbury tells them to do that. Kind of rolled my eyes a bit. But I started to internalize that. And I started to say to myself and to share with other people that my clients pay in full. Now, for the last 4 months, every single one of my new clients has paid in full. My clients pay in full. Okay. I doubled my rates. I literally doubled the amount of money it takes to work one-on-one with me. Even more people booked. Selling felt easier. Offers flowed better. And I reimagined every part of my business and life. And one of the things that was really interesting is when I first created my coaching community, I called it In the Arena. And at that time, felt really powerful because I was kind of wanted to have coaches kind of come together knowing how tough it was to kind of, I think was it a Roosevelt quote? Kind of being the man in the arena, to kind of keep going at it, to fight another day, to be kind of battle scarred and kind of do it again. So I called my community In the Arena. And over time, what was really interesting is I realized that energy was so heavy and it wasn't helping. And I could see it. The conversations in the kind of group chats were about battle scars. Obviously, because that's what I'd created. And they were about exhaustion and struggle and fight and death and losing limbs and pushing uphill. It was like this whole group was full of battle-weary warriors. You try saying that in the morning. Battle-weary warriors limping across the finish line. And again, it looks obvious looking back. But when we expect business and life to be a fight, when we expect it to be hard work, we create a business and life that is a fight and hard work. So I kind of had I had quite a few come to Jesus moments, come to Buddha, come to whoever else we're into. And I realized I wasn't prepared to hold that kind of space, and I was doing a disservice to my clients, basically. So one of the decisions I made was I renamed the community. And I renamed it from In the Arena, it's like, to the High Vibe Tribe. The High Vibe Tribe. And it was literally like flipping a switch. Almost instantly, the energy shifted. It was incredible. So instead of anxious, battle-worn coaches, the space started to become filled with grounded, conscious entrepreneurs, people who are ready to grow successful businesses without selling your souls, because we don't do that around here. And that's when I knew that raising our vibration doesn't just change how we feel, it changes everything. And I realized that and I'm pretty woo-woo adjacent. I'm a primarily business coach, but I'm quite a woo-woo business coach. And I'd kind of really hit me that I hadn't appreciated the extent to which my own energy was and had shaped every part of my business. Every client interaction, every marketing post, every offer I was broadcasting had my vibration. That worried about money scarcity, is this just a fluke? And I was attracting exactly what I was putting out. Who knew? Pippa knew. And so I started to learn about the emotional frequency spectrum. And it's a scale of energy from low vibration emotions like fear, doubt, scarcity, anxiety, depression, all low vibe, to high vibration energy, emotions on the other end of the scale: joy, gratitude, curiosity, confidence, peace, ease. And once I understood that my energy was literally shaping my results, everything changed. And I call this kind of my 400 hertz zone. It's not very catchy, but that's what I call it. And it really is that. And again, notice that is not the highest vibration they go. I think it goes to about 550. So it's like 400 is kind of medium high. We don't have to be like all enlightened Deepak Chopra's. We can be like 47-year-old mom of 3 in the energetic sweet spot zone. And that sweet spot is where business growth and flow happens. Decisions are clearer. Ideas come faster. I am so much more creative now than I was 6 months ago. I've started writing a book, nothing to do with business, just like a comedy. I've started painting rocks. Like, I've started to be much more creative, and I love it. Opportunities are showing up that I hadn't expected or planned for without forcing them. And there's a few simple practices that help me get there and to stay there consistently. First one, intentional mornings. My phone goes on do not disturb, unless you're my children, from like 7 o'clock in the evening until 8:30 the next day. I am very, very intentional about how I wind down my day and how I start up my day. I audit my energy throughout the day. I notice how I'm feeling after what I've eaten, and kind of how I feel around certain people, around certain tasks. And I create my day and the people and the environments around me to support that. And that's exactly what the law of vibration is. All energy vibrates at a specific frequency. And that means our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs and actions are constantly sending out vibrations, like a radio signal broadcasting. And it is no coincidence that I can't remember the number, but one of the episodes I did was called Why You're Not Taking Action. And I talked in there about this self-coaching model, Brooke Castillo's. She explains psychology in one of the best, and the way we make decisions and the relationship between our beliefs and the results in our lives in probably the best way I've ever seen. Big fan of hers. So it is no coincidence that the way energy works is the way psychology works. Because it literally changes our beliefs create our thoughts create our feelings, those emotions in our body. As human beings, we are feeling creatures who happen to think. We are not thinking creatures who happen to feel. So everything we do or don't do as a human is because of an emotion we have, we suspect we have, we want, or we're trying to avoid. And it's those emotions fuel our behavior, what we do, the actions we take, how many people we invite in, who we start conversations with, and all of those actions produce the results in our lives. So it is no coincidence that this also works in the exact same way as psychology. So in addition to kind of that law of vibration, the second part is, and it's really close related, is the law of attraction. Like attracts like. And so when I was stuck in scarcity energy, even if that wasn't what I was saying to people, even if I was showing up being pretty confident, if at night when I went to bed or when I was talking to the hubby, I was like, oh, I'm a bit worried about, whether I can keep up this level of income, whether the sales are going to be there. The universe doesn't listen to what you say. It listens to how you feel. Really, really important. The universe does not listen to what you say. It listens to how you feel. You cannot just I am a successful business coach. I'm a successful business coach. You cannot just affirmation your way to success. It doesn't work like that. You have to really, really feel it and believe it. The reason I'm relatively successful is I believed I was a really successful business coach long before the results came in. And that's hard sometimes. That's hard. And I think what people don't understand is you have to believe you are first, and then you have to chill the actual truck down long enough for the results to catch up. And they will catch up. They are coming. They are coming. So when I was stuck in kind of scarcity, my marketing, my content felt heavy. I was probably doing more call to actions. Book a call, DM me magic. 1998 called and they want the strategy back. Nobody wants to DM you rocket. Go away. And it was probably exhausting. I was chasing clients. I was chasing money. I was chasing ideas, but that wasn't aligned with my energy. And so when I started to focus on ease and joy and peace and aspiration and possibility and gratitude and abundance, my messaging changed. My messaging became more magnetic. Clients came to me ready, capable, and aligned because people were showing up based on my energy. Okay. So if you are attracting really low vibe clients, there's something going on with your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Okay. And that's not a criticism. That should feel so empowering because you can change it. You can change it. All right. So why did I choose 400? So I chose 400 because it's associated with kind of sound healing and energy science with clarity, creativity, and moving forward. It's above curiosity. It's kind of just above confidence. 400 is kind of around the courageous level. It is not the highest frequency possible. And that is deliberate because it is a sweet spot that you can maintain consistently. You are much better maintaining that kind of sweet spot of courage and momentum than ease and scarcity. Because that won't work. Okay. So at 400 hertz, our energy becomes energized and clear and empowered. Our best ideas come. Our clients will feel inspired to work with us. Our energy is inviting in possibility and growth. So our business is energy. The way you show up, speak, the way you believe, it all carries a frequency. That frequency either attracts or repels the people and the opportunities that you want. Okay. So just want to sort of take you through some of those actual frequencies just for funsies. So high frequency emotions are kind of between the 400 and the 440 hertz range. And one of the lovely things I like to do in my disgustingly dirty cell phone is on Spotify or any other service provider, you can listen to kind of those frequencies. You can tune into the gratitude frequency, the abundance frequency, the kind of heal your anxiety frequency. There's one on there for migraines that really helps me. And it just uses those energetic frequencies to help you. So courage is literally 400 hertz. Courage. Confidence is a bit north of courage. Confidence is like 410 to 430. Empowerment, much higher, 450. So empowerment is kind of when we're helping ourselves and helping others. Gratitude is higher even still, 470. And that is why gratitude and then kind of the courage to start again is so powerful, because it really moves us up. Love is one of the highest vibrations. It's 500 hertz. Joy is 540. There is a reason I talk about joy. There is a reason joy is one of my 3 key values. Joy is our natural state as human beings. The work is often to return to it. So operating a business here attracts clients, I won't say effortlessly. Maybe this time next year I'll say effortless. I won't even be able to pronounce it. Effortless. Easily. I won't say easily. I will say with ease. Because you still have to make efforts. You can't just sit on the couch eating Doritos watching, I don't know, Downton Abbey and expecting just to like, whoa. Maybe some people are that good. I'm not that good. We have to take action. But that action in that state feels natural. Ideas flow and your energy draws in more abundance. And so as we kind of move down those medium level frequencies, they're kind of around the 300 to the 399 hertz. Focus, determination. This is why determination, that kind of grit, that kind of 5 a.m. club, that kind of hustle is a terrible way to run a business. Now, do you need to be determined? Heck yes. Heck yes, you do. Because your brain doesn't want to go live. Your brain would rather go and have another cup of tea. Doesn't want to do it. Of course it doesn't. So you absolutely need focus, determination. But it is a lower frequency. It is around 340. Optimism. Optimism is a medium frequency. It's a 350. And this is really interesting. People tend to think that optimism is really high vibe. And it's higher vibe. And the reason optimism isn't as high vibe as the others is because it's passive. So you can be optimistic, but unless you're taking action, it renders it passive. Contentment, beautiful, beautiful. Contentment is 360. Curiosity, that kind of often the tipping point between low and high vibration. Curiosity, what is this trying to teach me? What can I learn from this? Versus, why is this happening to me? It's a very different energy. What can I learn? And those low frequencies. So a low frequency vibration is anything below a 300. So some of the lowest ones, shame. I think shame is the lowest one I can think of. So shame is the lowest vibration frequency. And that has a frequency of about 75. And shame is so paralyzing and sticky because, and there is a difference between guilt and shame. Guilt is 150. So guilt is twice as high as the vibration for shame. Lots of people, when they first start speaking to me or start working with me, will say they are stuck in guilt. What they're actually stuck is in shame. So guilt is I've done something wrong. And we all do as human beings. Shame is there's something wrong with me. Most people, when they are struggling, there is an element of shame. Lowest frequency there is. Frustration. 200, 250. But notice that frustration is often less passive. Well, it is less passive than shame. Three times higher frequency than shame, frustration. Overwhelm. Lots of coaches come to me and say, I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so busy. I'm overwhelmed. 180 hertz. Really, really low. Scarcity, doubt, second guessing ourselves, 180. Really. And a lot of us live there, don't we? I think I lived there for a few years because it's comfortable. It's better the devil you know. And when we are and I think sometimes we identify with it and it's a bit of a badge of honor. Like, I'm overwhelmed, but I'm in it. That's why I changed in the arena name. I don't want you to be overwhelmed and in it. I want you to be curious and confident and come with ease. And so when we're operating in those low vibe, it attracts more struggle. Struggle attracts more struggle. Resistance attracts more resistance. Misaligned clients or clients who you're undercharging or not charging attract more misaligned, underpaying free clients. And this is exactly where I was before my shift. So think of it like you're kind of tuning an old-fashioned radio. If you're showing my age, but if your dial is off by just like even a few hertz, the signal is distorted. And that is literally what low vibe energy does. It distorts your business signal, making your message hard to hear. Okay, so how can we that's all well and good, Joe. Fascinating, fantastic. Show me the money. So what can we do about it? We can start our mornings with gratitude and intention. Now, I've got children and a husband, and I live with people who can't find their pants and socks. It's a boy thing. So I deliberately get up in the morning about 2 hours before everyone else does. I need that time. I need that time when nobody's talking to me. Nobody's asking where their underpants are, basically. It's a whole thing with boys and underpants. I take a couple of hours in the morning and I often just sit and look out the window. And I read, and sometimes I meditate. But often I just pause and breathe and just allow myself to be. So the other thing we can do is kind of notice, check into our energy. The best way to know how you're feeling is the body will always tell you. So whenever I say to people, what's coming up for you, I will always say, where is it in your body? And the reason I say that is because it will give us a clue. We know that if we can kind of feel something across our chest, it's usually constriction. It's usually something like fear or overwhelm. If it's anxiety, or that's often in the kind of the pit of our stomach. If it's doubt and kind of frustration and resentment, it's often in our neck. So your body will always tell you where that is. And so slowly from doing that, my business shifted, yours can too. Clients came ready to invest. They came ready to grow, and they came ready to take action. My message became magnetic. I stopped chasing and I started attracting. So if you are listening to this and you can suspend your disbelief long enough to go, Ish, what's she on? What's she smoking? This is how you can do the same. Now, this doesn't mean that you don't have to nail your niche, create pain-killing offers that people want to buy, that you don't have to learn how to attract and sell without sleaze, that you don't have to learn how to write content that attracts, that you don't have to message and DM people. You can't just do this stuff. You can't just do this stuff. I wish you could. You can't. And in the same breath, you can't just do the other stuff. And this is why I'm talking about this today, because the room is full of people talking about niches and offers and things. And I talk about that stuff all the time. You can have the best nailed down niche in the world. If your energy is off, it won't work. Okay. So how do we kind of really make sure we're helping our business and all the technical and tactics and strategic stuff? We can start your day with gratitude. When you wake up in the morning, instead of reaching for your phone, list 3 things you're grateful for. I do that before I go to bed. I write down 3. I actually write down as many as I can, but at least 3 things that I'm grateful for. I do that every morning and every evening. My very Canadian rugged lumberjack husband actually started doing that a few weeks ago, and it's made a huge difference. It's only taken me 15 years. So start our day with gratitude. Really, really helps. The other thing we can do is to become the observer of your thoughts. So start to catch those negative thoughts. And I'm not talking about toxic positivity where we go from, oh shit, I can't pay my mortgage, to I have more money than I know what to do with. Your brain's not stupid. Your brain will explode. What we want to do is start to be more neutral from, I'm not making enough money, to money has served me well. Something like that. Something more neutral. And if we can, even better, more abundant. But you have to believe it. You can't just say it, because the universe doesn't listen to what you say. It listens to how you feel. So, and the reason we do that is because our mind is broadcasting signals constantly. So we have to make sure they're aligned with what we actually want to attract. The other thing you can do is to practice deep breathing and meditation. You really want to focus on calming down your nervous system. even a few minutes a day can shift your energy and create space for clarity. One of the best ways to change your energy and change your vibration, Tony Robbins talks about this as, what does he call it? Changing your physiology. It's what you see him like on stage he's always in Florida, isn't he? When he kind of does like jumpy things. Moving our bodies changes energy. Walk, stretch, dance, whatever lights you up. Energy loves movement. Energy loves movement. Surround yourself with, people that feel like sunshine, high vibe, supportive people, and walk away from anything or anyone that drains you. One of the things that's happened to me in the last 6 months is I have really found myself consciously pulling away from friendships that I've had for like 10, 20, 30 years because I can just feel they drain me. And that doesn't mean I don't love them. Doesn't mean I won't always have their backs. It means that that's not where I'm going to put my energy anymore. And that's difficult. So one of the things that happens when you raise your vibration, some people call it leveling up, is you will notice, you will have to say goodbye. You will have to say goodbye to people and friends and beliefs and maybe sugar sometimes. Steady on. Alcohol. I haven't drunk for 4 years and I love a glass of wine. The reason I don't drink is because it slows me down. It slows me down. It makes me very anxious after I turn 40. You want to prioritize what makes you feel alive. And you really want to make sure your beliefs match what you want to attract. So one of the beliefs I have is I net $1 million a year. I net $1 million a year with ease, and it's just the beginning. It's like, it's already done. People genuinely want to work with me. I have a wait list of ideal clients. I am healthy. I am joy. I am love. And I believe that with every part of me. And I know that if I don't have that belief, it's not going to happen. What was really interesting, even when I was saying that out loud, what came up for me was like 5. It's 5 million. For me, it's getting to that level of money and the impact I would be able to make in the world for me. Okay. I also like really expensive soap. And here's the thing that a lot of people get wrong about kind of the law of attraction and manifesting and energy is it's not just about thinking, feeling, and believing. You also have to take action. You have to take risks. You have to be willing to try and to fail and to not get the result you want. You have to be willing to be rejected. You have to be willing to be rejected. If you are a solopreneur or a coach and you still feel a certain way about feeling rejected, until we work on that, it's not going to work. Make peace with rejection. They are not rejecting you. You are not for sale. You are not for sale. And if you are, you shouldn't be. Okay. Right. So you have to take action. And in the next couple of weeks in the podcasts, we'll talk about how to do that. So in the meantime, I have missed doing this. I have a couple of spaces left for my 10K Club Academy program. I am currently waitlisting the 250K Momentum group. It is full at the moment. This energy stuff works. It is full until October. Remember, fabulous people pay to work with me and they are lining up and they get incredible results. So if you are wanting to get to those consistent 10K months and then 20, 30, whatever you want, reach out on LinkedIn or wherever you're listening to this, sign up, apply. And if you have enjoyed this, and if you haven't, you're probably still not listening. If you are still here and you're not related to me by blood, remember to like, to subscribe, and to share this episode with someone who really needs to hear it. And remember, my friends, just because you're going solo as a coach, it doesn't mean you're alone. I've got you. Until next time, take care.